All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a technology that took the revolutionary idea of a decentralized network and asked a huge question. What if we could do more than just send digital money around? We're going to explore this evolution, from simple digital cash to the incredible potential of a global programmable platform called Ethereum.
I love this saying because it hits the nail on the head. Bitcoin was brilliant, right? It created a true peer-to-peer electronic cash system. But the creators of Ethereum looked at the blockchain technology underneath and thought, wait a minute, we can use this for so much more. It wasn't just about recording who paid whom, it was about executing code.
So, to really get why Ethereum is such a big deal, we kind of have to rewind a bit. We first need to understand what it was built to improve upon. And that story, of course, starts with the OG blockchain, Bitcoin.
And you can see the key difference right here in this comparison. Bitcoin was designed with one main goal: be a secure, decentralized currency. The whole network is fine-tuned for that one specific job. Ethereum, on the other hand, was built to be a flexible, open platform. That much faster block time, its unique pricing model, which we'll get into in a sec, it's all designed to support a whole universe of applications running on top of its network.
And this all came from the mind of its creator, Vitalik Buterin. The goal wasn't just to make another cryptocurrency. The vision was to use blockchain technology to decentralize the very services we use every single day. You know, things like social media, financial agreements, even voting systems, all of which are currently run by big centralized companies.
So if it's not just a currency network, what the heck is it? Well, the best way to think about it, and this is a really powerful analogy, is to imagine Ethereum as one single global computer, a world computer that nobody owns, but everybody can use.
So how does that even work? How do you build a world computer? Well, it's not sitting in some giant data center somewhere. As you can see here, it's a huge interconnected network of individual computers. We call them nodes, all volunteering their computing power. Together, they form the hardware for this massive global machine.
Okay, so you've got the hardware, all those thousands of computers. But every computer needs an operating system, right? For Ethereum, that's the Ethereum Virtual Machine, or the EVM for short. The EVM is like the software brain that runs on all those nodes. It's what processes all the instructions and makes absolutely certain that every single computer in the network agrees on the result of every single calculation. But running a computer this massive isn't free. There's a cost. And just like your car needs gasoline to run, the EVM needs something called gas. This is that unique pricing system we mentioned earlier. Gas is basically the fee you pay to get things done on the network. A simple task costs a little gas, a really complex program costs a lot more gas. It's literally the fuel that powers the world computer. All right, so we've got our global computer, it's fueled up with gas. Now for the really cool part. What can you actually do with it? What software can you run? In the world of Ethereum, these programs have a special name: smart contracts. Think of a smart contract like a super-powered vending machine. You know how a vending machine works, right? You put in your money, you press the button for your item, and the machine automatically gives you your snack. The rules are baked right in. A smart contract is just like that, but for basically any kind of digital agreement. It's a contract that enforces itself automatically with no humans needed. And the process is both simple and incredibly powerful. First, a developer writes the rules of the deal, like, if you pay me 1 Ether, then I will give you this digital art, into code. Second, they upload that code to the Ethereum blockchain, where it lives forever and can't be changed. Third, something happens to trigger it, like someone sending 1 Ether to the contract's address, and boom, finally, the contract automatically runs and sends the art. No middlemen, no waiting, no he said, she said. And this is the real game changer. Why does this matter so much? Because when you can automate trust, you can start cutting out all the middlemen we have to rely on for almost everything. This means lower fees, faster service, and it opens the door to creating entirely new kinds of applications, we call them dApps, that run without any single person or company in control.
So, how do people actually write these incredible things? Well, they use a programming language that was built specifically for Ethereum.
And don't worry, it might look more familiar than you think. This right here is a real line of code from Solidity, which is the main language for Ethereum. It actually looks a lot like other programming languages. All this line is doing is creating a piece of text data, a string, calling it name, and then setting its value to Benjamin. It's from simple, basic building blocks just like this one that developers can build incredibly complex and powerful agreements.
Okay, but this brings up a really important question.
This whole world computer thing, it's a closed system. It only knows what's happening inside the blockchain. So how does it react to stuff happening in the real world?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. Let's say you have a smart contract for flight insurance that pays you back if your flight is delayed. How on earth does the contract know your flight was delayed? It can't just go check the airline's website, right? It needs a secure, trustworthy way to get that outside information. The answer is something called an oracle. Now, an oracle isn't part of the blockchain itself. You can think of it like a trusted messenger, a service that acts as a secure bridge. It goes out, finds real-world information, like that flight data, verifies it, and then feeds it onto the blockchain so the smart contracts can use it. It's the crucial link that makes smart contracts actually useful in the real world.
So, to wrap this all up, the key idea to take away is this. Ethereum completely changed what a blockchain could be. It went from being just a ledger for money to a full-blown programmable platform. It's the foundation, the base layer, for building a whole new version of the internet, a decentralized one.
And that leaves us with a pretty wild thought to chew on. If you can write an agreement into code that enforces itself perfectly every time, how many of the middlemen in our world, the banks, the escrow agents, maybe even some lawyers, suddenly become, well, unnecessary? What happens when code becomes the ultimate trusted party? Something to think about. See you next time.